Hello, this is Universa, and I'll be hosting this evening for a special Halloween podcast of the Waffle Press. We're back in a new phase of our show. We're starting up again. I am joined this evening by Nick Valero of Hyperkin.
Hey, how's you guys doing?
And Renee is our sound engineer.
Hello.
And we have a pair of special guests tonight. I have with me James and Jon Connellick of Dual Visions.
Thank you guys for having us.
Oh, thank you for coming.
That sounded so robotic.
Thanks, guys.
Hi, thank you for having us.
Thank you for being here.
That works.
So James and Jon, I've known you guys for like 5 years now.
Yeah. It's been a while now.
Yeah, good friends of mine. Just gonna list some of your stats. So
What are they, rookie cards?
maybe. So you guys have directed Airplane versus Volcano.
Yep.
I think is it James that just directed Age of Tomorrow?
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, it's just you. Behind the Walls, coming out soon. It has Law Temple from Walking Dead.
Lou Temple, Vanessa,
sorry.
Angel, Hutch Dano, Reggie Lee from NBC's Grimm, and Bailey Spry from It Follows. If
Sweet.
Follows.
That's
Nice.
that's a good movie. And you guys have also produced Blood Brothers.
Yep, Blood Brothers is coming out this December. Well, I'll plug everything later.
Gotcha.
Yeah, we can do all that plugging stuff.
Also had the pleasure of working as your assistant editor, James, on The Crooked Man, which aired the beginning of October.
Yeah. That was a interesting project. I have a fun story about that.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Please tell me it's something about Gene falling or something.
No, it was what was it? It was do you guys like see on Facebook at all like movie set memes or anything like that?
I've seen a few.
yeah.
There's a cool Tumblr that has a bunch of them.
Yeah.
I cannot recreate the feeling that I felt one day when I was like just sort of scrolling through it and I saw a still from the movie The Crooked Man.
Uh-huh.
And the caption read, "When your editor doesn't give a fuck." And they left a watermark of a stock footage shot on 5 on
shit.
fucking footage. And it broadcasted that way.
It was
like
picture lock?
And
With that?
I don't know.
Oh,
I
jeez.
was like instantly emailing like people like, "Oh my god, why? How did this air? How did this get the sci-fi?" But they fixed it, so I'm told.
Okay, that's good. Because I was watching. I saw it the other night, and it seemed I didn't see the watermark. So like,
They probably fixed it.
yeah,
then.
I think they fixed it.
that is pretty funny.
That's pretty funny. So yeah, guys, can you just tell us a little about yourselves? Just about Dual Visions, the company. Just what are you doing?
Yeah, sure. We started Dual Visions back in 2014. We originally got our start back in 2011, 5 years ago. Holy cow. Jim started as an editor for The Asylum, and I just sort of wandered in and got a job miraculously in the casting department. And after a few years of working there and slowly but surely wearing them down, we eventually got to write for them and then direct. And then after a while, we left, started our own company, Dual Visions, in 2014, made that official. We produced Blood Brothers, and then shortly thereafter that, we produced and directed Behind the Walls, our own haunted house movie, built our own set for that. Then after that, purely because I was storing the house set in storage for a long time, I was sort of forced, I should probably get a stage to put the set in. So I did, and our stage is now in Canoga Park, Dual Vision Stages, and where people can rent the stage and film on it. Anybody can come in and film there, and it's been doing rather well. We opened the doors there in June. And Crypt TV just shot their first ever live stream horror film there just the other day, and it's been getting, I think it's over 1 million views now, and it's been this insane viral thing. So that one was really cool. Okay. And then, we've been getting a lot of other cool opportunities coming our way. So it's just been a weird years, it
Yeah.
doesn't feel that long. It felt like it came by really, really fast.
Right. Yeah. Well, congrats, guys. It's I think I was watching some
Hey.
of the stream. It looked really cool. It was what was it called?
I think they just called it Stream.
Yeah, I think yeah.
Yeah.
They had like this contest where they announced these winners, and like the next day, the winners of this like supposed contest wake up in this unknown place. It's all dark, and they just have their phone or whatever, and they have like carved into their arm like "Stop streaming, you die" or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
And so people are like watching and tuning in to this, and like they're talking to the people that are watching, and like people are commenting it live, and it was kind of neat.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, tension was high. It was like a play, and
Right.
being in the control room and stuff. They have all their light board and sound and stuff, and they're yelling out cues at each other, like, all right, hit this light, get that light.
So it was kind of
it was great.
Yeah, like a live broadcast, like kind of like an old school like 50s like broadcast thing.
Absolutely.
That's what it felt like, and it was really intense. So and pretty amazing.
Was there did someone direct that, or is it just like?
No, yeah.
Could you? Do
Yeah,
it?
they had a director, and they had their DP. Their DP was kind of their tech director as far as handling all the technology of it. And I think it was a learning curve for everyone because no one has ever really done this, and it's still new, and that technology is not really experimented on much. So even when you try to Google it, there isn't a lot of information there. So it's a lot of trial and error, but they pulled it off, and it turned out really well.
Yeah.
Everyone was happy with it,
And
and
like a week or
What's up?
they like rehearsed for like a week or something like that.
Right. Yeah, I can imagine.
Just running through it constant. I mean, it was like he said, like a play. It was interesting.
A murderous play.
it was insane. Yeah, and I was in it too. At the last
you
minute,
were?
they're like, "Hey, John, do you want to be in it?" And I'm like, "Sure." What am I doing again?
Yeah. Were you?
So that was fun, and that was sort of like living my worst nightmare. Where, as an actor, I still have nightmares of going out on stage, like of theater. The night of a show, filling in for somebody, and I don't know the lines. They just sort of throw me out there, and I don't know my cues. I don't know my lines, and people are just looking at me, and I'm like, So it almost felt like that because I'm like having to quickly learn.
Right.
What I'm supposed to do at the last minute.
Mm-hmm.
So it was very nerve-wracking, but it was a ton of fun. I'm glad I got to do it. So
Yeah. Were you a killer? Were you one of the victims or one of the people that had the?
Yeah, I was one. Yeah, I was one of the victims, and it was actually pretty amazing. We did a couple of things. We had a box truck in the back of our stage. And behind the stage, rather, in the parking lot. And there's a part where the girl, our lead, is running around, and then she goes into the back of the box truck, and I guess the door comes slamming down, and the truck is supposed to move and back into the stage. And so as soon as she goes out and leaves the stage, I have to immediately run out of the tech room and get outside as fast as I can to get the truck started without being seen, by her in the camera, and start it up, back it up, because I don't want anyone crashing the truck into my building except me. And,
right.
So we did that, and then later, after she goes back into the building, I have to sneak back into the building and then go to my hiding spot where I'm gonna show up and later get killed. And it was insane.
Jeez. Sounds pretty nerve-wracking.
They even hung a guy from our beams, the ceiling beams. It was insane.
Jeez. Pretty cool. Very cool.
But yeah, can you tell us a little bit about your Behind the Walls? I know it's a new movie that you guys are working on and everything like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Jim, you want to?
Yeah. Thank you. No, Behind the Walls started off as, I guess, a project that sort of came about after, I don't know, just out of pure frustration and I guess desperation, where we were just wanting to make our stamp or put our put out our calling card that represented like a film that represented us 100%. as opposed to continuing to make movies that we liked and everything, but we were kind of just guns for hire at the moment. Like we did,
Right.
we did Airplane versus Volcano, Age of Tomorrow, great learning experiences. We did Damn Sharks, and we just wanted to do something else that was our own. And we had already produced our first film, but we didn't direct, so it was I think we were just itching to get back into the director's chair and do something ourselves. And we thought, well, if we were going to do anything, what would we do? I think we were calling each other as we were like in traffic or something.
Mm-hmm.
We were just chatting back and forth. We're like, well, what could we do, on our own? At the time we were thinking like, we'll do it really cheap, do something on our own, very small, consolidated location, like one location in a house or something like that. But then, it has a big concept. And we're like, well, let's do a haunted house movie. And we're like, no, that's fucking stupid. We already wrote one before. We had fun with that, but we are moving on with it.
Right.
And what was it? So we were saying, like, well, why don't we do a haunted house movie, but where the house is a character and, like, the perspective is from the house.
Right.
Like, we're oftenly seen or watching this family move in from the house's perspective. And I think I think something, kind of lit up for us then. Like, okay, that's kind of cool. That's kind of different for us. Whether or not that translates, that's up to the audience. But, that was the initial jumping off point that really sent us into, well, I guess we're making this.
Mm-hmm.
So to get the I noticed that you said something about the house's perspective. How exactly are you guys managing that? Is it just by having ceiling cameras? Are you guys gonna? How exactly are you guys going about that?
Well,
with that, we actually that's why we built the set was so we could fly away walls if we wanted to, and not have a ceiling, so we could get really high up, put a ladder and look down in some weird angles, or even punch holes through the walls if we want to, and kind of look through that way. And we had a bunch of vents that we would shoot through as well, things like that. And then we have transitional moments in the film where we will leave a scene, like say the bathroom, and we'll travel through the walls and then enter the next scene in like a bedroom or something. And it's pretty fun. And one thing Jim and I were saying was, throughout the whole movie, even though we don't do it a lot, it's sort of like Jaws in the sense that we want that presence always to be there. And so there's a lot of sound design, really heavy sound design, to try to just make it more of an experience and try to have you just sort of feel what the house is feeling. And it's kind of a weird thing, but it's I think it's something unique.
Well, that it was that, and in the story, instead of how every haunted house movie, the formula is always, family moves into house, family finds out house is evil, they find out the house's evil origins and all this, dirty little secrets of the house. They're like, well, what if it's the opposite? What if a house is just a house and it's there, a family moves in, and the house is finding out the family's dirty little secrets, and instead of like the house wanting to kill and get rid of the family, it's more like the house is wanting to keep the family and stop anybody from, getting in its way, kind of thing.
Right. And when can is there a release date, or is it coming soon, or when can we see it?
John?
We're looking at right now. We're taking it to the American film market this November, and to find some buyers. There's a lot of interest already internationally. We're looking at a tentative maybe spring release theatrically here in the States. So there's a few things we might do. We might do it ourselves. We might have someone else do theatrical. It's up in the air at the moment. But
well, it looks really good, because I think you showed me some of the like a rough cut of it when I was working at your office, and it was just like really cool. The some of the dailies you showed, and then the plates from the perspective of the house, and it looks really awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It does sound like a very interesting concept, especially if it's kind of like, what would happen if a house just had bad people living in it.
Yeah.
Like, just a
like
bunch of assholes.
What was the Simpsons episode where they think they're doing like a Shining and the Shining parody? The house just telling them to kill each other.
Well, that was like the thing, like, where the voice, like, speaks out and says, get out and everything like that. It kind of goes back to like Amityville Horror and everything like that. But
very much so.
I don't know. For us, we're like, no. The house. What if the house is lonely and it really wants people to stay, and it's just kind of misunderstood?
Yeah.
So
it's in a very, and that's not to say that it doesn't get jealous and angry and even love someone so much that they might smother them.
Right.
That's
smother it to.
That's another thing.
That's all. That's actually really funny,
exactly.
especially if like somebody comes over from like their neighbor's apartment or something like that. It's like that was a really nice house.
Right.
Like why don't we have those? We should get marble. That's what we should do.
Cool.
That's really interesting. I like the idea.
And that's the thing is it's an abandoned house and it's really shitty. So of course they're gonna want to leave. And it doesn't really want them to. It likes having them there and whatnot. So I think that was always the name of the game. And the other haunted house movie we wrote, House is Not a Home, directed by Chris Ray, who directed Crooked Man. Oh no, he didn't direct Crooked Man. He produced Crooked Man. But that's out now. Get it.
Yeah.
Anyway, we wrote that for them, and we had it violent and crazy and over the top and insane. That was fun. And with this one, we're like, well, we don't want to kill the whole family again. That's not like as exciting, and it feels easy for us. So we're like, well, at least let's put them through hell. Let's really screw them up and put them through a lot.
Gotcha.
Maybe
so that's
maybe
what
the family does die. Who knows? We don't know.
Okay, we won't spoil it.
Yeah.
So just changing gears here. We're just gonna go over some movie news for a few minutes. I just wanted to see your guys' opinion on just some cool stuff happening. So first one is Tim Miller left Deadpool. I think we were talking about this before the show.
Yeah.
Yeah, you were John.
Crazy news.
Yeah, John, you were saying that it was over creative differences.
Yes.
From what I read, at first it sounded like, oh, it's amicable and whatever. I thought it was probably a studio thing, and they just totally ruined it. But it was actually between Ryan Reynolds and Tim Miller, from what I read.
Right.
And since the first one did so well, the second one, Ryan Reynolds has a lot of power in the producing department, so he gets casting approval and a lot of approvals over other things in the creative department.
Right.
And the last straw was the casting of Cable.
Right.
And, Tim Miller wanted Kyle Chandler, and Ryan Reynolds said, no fucking way.
Right.
And I kind of agree with him.
Yeah,
I like Kyle Chandler, but I don't
Cable
think
in the
works.
Comics is like a big muscular dude. Like he's older. I mean, I think Kyle Chandler is like in his 40s, but you would want someone like like Stephen Lang or like who
Dolph Lundgren.
Maybe. Yeah. So
when it comes to casting, though, it's like I feel like, if I may, I'm sorry, guys.
Yeah, sure.
No, go for it.
When it comes to casting and everything, I mean, as a director, I don't think I've 100%. This is gonna sound so rude. I don't think I've ever 100% got every actor I first went out to. You know what I mean? So, just because I think you have a disagreement with, who you're going to cast or whatever, doesn't really mean you're like a terrible director.
Right.
So,
No.
Yeah, like Francis Ford Coppola like casted his daughter in Godfather Part 3, and she was terrible.
Well, I mean,
yeah. So there you go, case in point. But
Well,
every decision you're going to make as as a director, to cast wise, you're not going to know everything. Maybe you're going to be forced into working with somebody that is a good actor. But then you realize later, like, man, I can't even imagine working with anybody else than this person that I'd had to work with.
Absolutely.
It's happened with me every time, and maybe it would have happened with this way. Maybe Tim didn't know. Maybe he didn't have the answers for everything. So I don't know if they forced him out or if he willingly left.
Yeah, like he
but,
didn't.
I don't think it should have been the last straw. Like, casting for me is like, okay, whatever, make the movie.
From the reports I've been reading about, they've been saying that it was very amicably. Nobody was like upset. Nobody was mad.
Yeah, I'm sure he'll maybe still get like producing credit.
I'm sure he's still gonna be probably on as a producer. The one thing is that I also heard that he also wanted to kind of change the tone a bit. Like that was like kind of like his next move.
Comedic.
Yeah, it was gonna be less comedic, and Ryan Reynolds necessarily didn't want that. He wanted it to kind of keep to the comedic and do everything like that, and
And they said more style. Yeah, wasn't the first one stylized? Like,
they had the slow-mo opening credits scene. Like, I think it was stuff like that he wanted more of, which would have made the budget go up.
Well, the thing is that a lot of things that a lot of the special effects was done by Blur Studios, which Tim Miller made and created, in which a lot of them they fit the bill for a lot of those a lot of that stuff. So you're not going to get Blur Studios.
Makes sense.
So Blur Studios is I'm not sure if they're going to stay on to do their special effects.
Who knows?
Or anything like that. If everything was amicable enough where they're going to go like, yeah, like it's cool. I'm not going to direct it anymore, but I'll still do all the special effects and everything like that. But hopefully it still works.
Yeah, hopefully it's still good. Yeah, because that's a great. The first Deadpool was great.
Absolutely.
Yeah, especially the long journey that project. Had taken,
Yeah, especially for almost not being made to being one of like the best movies. Which won the like.
It's better than BVS.
That's debatable, but
that's debatable. Not the ultimate cut. You can't bring that.
The ultimate cut counts.
Okay, and just another quick thing is, you guys saw the Logan trailer, which looks really cool.
That looks good.
Talk about fucking stylized.
Yeah, that was Johnny. I think it was Hurt. They cut it to.
Yeah, man, I love that shit, and I posted it saying like this, like do more superhero movies like this where it's more gravitas and just dramatic at its core, and it wasn't this huge massive spectacle. Granted, I'm sure there's going to be spectacle up the wazoo, but that at its core it feels like it's something a little bit
character driven.
More serious. Yeah, character driven.
Right. It's kind of
and I like that.
Mm-hmm. To be totally honest, it kind of felt like an old Western.
Yeah, like the comic it's based off of is just like Unforgiven meets Wolverine.
Yeah, but that's the one thing I really like about it is that I feel like they got a script and then they were like, oh, this would work for Wolverine. And like it was like a good script already, and they were like, well, let's put dabbits of Wolverine in there and some X-Men stuff, and then that would be an even better movie. And I think that's what you should do for a superhero movie. We have too many movies that are very similar as in the superhero genre. And I think this is going to be that one. I think that's going to be one of the movies that's kind of like, this is different. And I think
I think I agree on that. I don't know if that'd be a giant slap in the face to those screenwriters, but it's like, 20th Century just bought my fucking crime thriller heist movie, and then they turn it into like, I don't know, goddamn Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie, but it's like,
I wouldn't mind that as like Ant-Man and the Wasp. That'd be kind of tight.
That would be cool. I mean, like that would be neat. I wish they would do that, where they just, they shouldn't be blowing up the world in every film. I think we're over.
Yeah,
there shouldn't be a giant portal that we always have to shut down.
Right. Speaking of that, Guardians 2. Did you guys see? It wasn't really a trailer; it was a teaser.
It was a teaser trailer.
Yeah.
A teaser. Yeah. I mean,
I'm down.
Exactly what I thought it was going to be. It looks more of like the first one, which I love the first one. So I'm like, cool. I wasn't like jumping up and down, like thrilled. I love James Gunn. Mm-hmm. It looked good. It made me laugh, and smile, and I'm like, cool. Right on. Moving on.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. That goes in the realm of like, there's been a lot of really serious stuff, and sometimes you just need to break free and have some really fucking weird, ridiculous stuff. Sorry, can I swear?
Oh yeah, totally. This is like M-rated.
I'm gonna do it too.
Great.
It's fine.
Yeah.
We swear all the time. What was it? But I think that what's really good is I know some people were actually disappointed because they didn't show anything from like what's gonna be in the new mixtape, like what kind of music are they gonna be using in this one. Right. And you know what? I think it really does work by them still using the same soundtrack.
Well, I'm probably sure they're gonna use "Hooked on a Feeling."
Well, the reason why I thought it was genius was because even if you weren't following superhero movies and you didn't know who it was and you're a little kid or anything like that, as soon as you heard that song, you were like, it's Guardians of the Galaxy.
Definitely.
Yeah, that was the first thing you thought. Signature. Right? Yeah. It's almost like Guardians theme music. As good as the music was in that movie, it was more so the soundtrack that was more iconic.
That took off. Yeah, and I think that's so perfect by using that, and that makes the trailer, the teaser just soar even further than it would have without it.
Yep.
Cool. So
well, it's even kind of like, going back to Iron Man, like Black Sabbath's Iron Man was, that it's right there in the friggin' title. So
right, yeah.
I wish more Marvel movies would do that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean,
where they had some kind of iconic existing, song.
Yeah,
definitely.
I think that's which
Yeah.
I still remember the first Iron Man where it just ended with Black Sabbath's Iron Man.
Right.
And that was like one of the coolest scenes of just like him shooting a tank and then it beginning the song. And it was like, that was badass.
Yeah, definitely.
And you're going like, oh, I can't wait for this movie to come out.
Definitely.
And that was always great.
Yeah. Cool. So that pretty much rounds up all the news that happened this week.
Can we talk about Rogue One at least? We weren't here for Rogue One.
We weren't here for Rogue One. The last trailer, right?
Yeah, the latest trailer.
We could talk about it for a sec.
Yeah. What'd you guys think of Rogue One? The Rogue One
I
trailer.
liked this new trailer better than the last one. The last one I was like, it's fine.
Yeah.
But the new one I was like, all right, okay.
Yeah.
Well, the last one ended. The last one, not this most recent, but the previous trailer ended with her like facing off with a TIE fighter, right?
Yeah. That was a cool ending.
That was pretty cool. I gotta say, that was a good image.
Yeah, I don't think you could top that. Have you guys seen the Beastie Boys Sabotage version that someone cut to it?
Somebody cut Sabotage with it?
Yeah, like how the Star
That's
Trek
pretty funny.
one had it.
No,
Oh wow, no.
was that like the YouTube guy Unusual Suspect or something that did that?
Maybe.
Maybe.
That's actually really funny.
It's,
I need to check that out.
Yeah, I think that's probably been my favorite trailer. Although Rogue One.
Well, any
are really
press is good press, right? Like,
No, which I think that the trailer really does work, especially since they what they did is they finally showed off Darth Vader,
Right.
And
Well,
they finally
see
showed it,
him
like you actually
in all his
they finally
glory.
seen it. They finally show it, so that way anybody who was confused of whether or not this was Episode 8 or confused on what timeline this is or where exactly this movie takes place, everybody's like, well, Darth Vader's in it, so obviously it must take place sometime before the original trilogy.
Yeah.
So that's kind of good.
Cool. So
Though, what has me concerned is just the fact that they reshot what's the percentage, like
maybe
45%
30
of the movie or
35,
something?
but-
It was 30%, but you know what? To be totally honest, from like reports that I've been reading, most of them are kind of saying like either they were action scenes or connection scenes to action scenes, or different stuff, like they wanted to go tonally, or like a joke didn't land that they wanted.
Right.
So that was
I think-
that.
Hey,
Huh?
yeah. Hey man, I'm all for it if it makes it better, but Suicide Squad.
True.
Hey, you know what? Suicide Squad would have been a great movie if it wasn't a fucking hole in the sky and they had to go turn it off. Like I think that would have been a badass movie.
There was a good movie.
Yeah, there was a good movie in there. They just They just didn't know how.
it was the structure. I'm telling you, it was like the structure of the movie. The studio was like, you know what? We need to establish all the heroes before the threat, and then I don't know. It was all ass backwards.
Yeah.
You know what? The sad part is that after I got out of that movie, I do remember talking with, I think it was either Gene or somebody else, and we broke down the movie and we were like, all you had to do was change like 4 things, and that movie would have been great. Like all you needed was like change it that they didn't just meet, and make it that they are a standing team. Don't make it that don't make it that there's a giant.
There was
orb.
a lot we could have changed.
Yeah, don't make it that there's a giant orb. Don't make the world ending, because then why wouldn't the superheroes come?
Yeah.
Right.
Oh.
I mean, like that was my biggest complaint was in order for the way I saw it, and how I sort of registered it in my mind. I'm like, oh, it's Escape from New York, but with like supervillains. I'm like, that's brilliant.
That's cool.
And
then it was.
I'm a big John Carpenter fan and a big Escape from New York fan, and LA, despite what many may think. The thing that made those movies work was, they were recruiting a guy that was expendable, but he was going to blend in with a bunch of other people that were bad or equally bad or worse.
Right.
So he can he's infiltrating an area or a group or an organization and trying to assassinate somebody or grab somebody and retrieve somebody and bring it back. With Suicide Squad, it was like, we're going to send you guys in and do this and that. And it's like, well, they're not really infiltrating anything. If there's a big problem, send in the superheroes, send in Superman. Why isn't it Why isn't Batman there?
Right. Superman was dead, but Batman should have been there.
But to be totally honest, I think the movie is just way better if it was like, okay, these guys are gonna go stop the Joker from getting a dirty bomb.
Right. If it was something like that.
All of a sudden the movie becomes like
80%.
Yeah, that's a great movie because then you have all these villains who are, like either masking into like an organization or doing something like that, like the comics, and then it works.
Would have been better.
Yeah.
Okay, so we just, sorry guys, we need to wrap up this segment. We're just going to cut away now to a quick interview I did at Scare LA with some of the stars of Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. We have George Diaz and Gabrielle Walsh. Cool, and we'll cut away to that. And hi, this is Gina Versa. I'm here at Scare LA with the Waffle Press podcast, and I'm here with...
What's up, guys? This is Jorge Diaz from Paranormal Activity, the marked ones. I played Hector.
Hi, this is Gabrielle Walsh, and I played Marisol.
Awesome. So how you guys enjoying the con so far?
Really enjoying it, man. This is
some really cool stuff here.
Yeah, some great costumes. It's my first time here, and I'm like excited to check out some of the mazes. I heard the mazes are really good.
It's been the coolest costume you've seen so far here?
I think the Scarecrow.
I mean, there was this little girl that was dressed as Chucky.
And she was like fully committed. This little girl could have been more like older than 6 years old.
Dead eyes, man.
Yeah, and she's like in full character. Like she like really embodied that character. It's hilarious.
I also saw someone who like had a full like body like cast. Like she looked like, I don't know, almost like Species. You know how Species looked?
Species,
you remember her? And her skin was just, I don't know. I can't even describe it, but it was awesome.
And also, we just met Elvira, which I was super excited about. Because I've never met her, and she looks amazing, man. She looks great for her age. I was like, what? I've been watching her since I was a little kid. Yeah.
So, this is going to air in October. It'd be a horror-themed podcast.
Right.
Do you, what interests you, like, in horror? Like, what makes it so, like, interesting, in your opinion?
Well, I think I've always been... I've had an interest in it because based on personal experiences, my house was haunted as a little kid,
really?
And we used to think my mom was crazy, and me and my brother were like, "Mom, you're crazy." And it wasn't until me and my brother started having experiences of our own, like hearing footsteps, getting touched, and this happened for years, and on and off it happened for like decades. Because I went to college, I came back, my mom would still see the same shadows. My mom used to see things at the foot of her bed, and it wasn't until they sold their house 2 years ago, like our family house, which is in the middle of LA. Our friend that was a medium came over, and we didn't tell her anything, and she validated every single experience, and she told us, the house, mind you, had been remodeled already, and she told us, this room, there's a vortex right here, and that's where my mom's bed used to be. It was crazy. I mean, but like, that's why I've always been like, oh my God, this is real. There's like a, you know what I mean?
Jorge has a deep personal connection with the undead. For me, I think it's just a thrill of everything, that exciting like drop in your stomach that reminds you that you're still alive. That's why I love horror and Halloween and all that.
She keeps on getting cast in horror.
Yeah, it seems to be my thing. I get bit by beautiful vampires and get to work with the paranormal. So.
Yeah, exactly.
And one last question. So in you both were in Paranormal Activities, the marked ones. It's probably the only like a horror film that had like a Hispanic cast that I can think of in a long time. And like that's really surprising because Hispanic culture has a lot of like cool ghost stories.
Totally.
Yeah. How does that feel, or like what can you say about like diversity in like horror films? I guess.
I think just diversity in general, but I mean.
Christopher Landon, the director, made a point of that, and he's worked on all the previous 4 films except for the first one, I believe. And he's been writing for the film. He's the writer and the director of our film. And he wanted to bring it back to its roots, where like Santeria and all the paranormal activity and the Latin culture is very big on all of that. So I felt like that was like respect, bringing it back to its roots.
Yeah, and there's so much to explore in that whole world, of brujeria and Santeria, and I feel they should just keep on exploring because there's so much there, and I feel there's so much of horror film audience. A lot of it, there's a strong percentage are like Hispanics. You know what I mean? So I feel they should keep on, telling stories.
Yeah, but it's kind of hard to have it with black people because black people run. They just get out of the house. Get the house, I am gone. People have the voodoo.
And apparently, according to the marked ones, we shoot back. Latinos shoot back. They're like, fuck this shit.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. So thank you so much for your time.
For sure, man.
Cool. We're back from the interview. Right now we're gonna do a quick activity. Part of it is pitch a movie. We have a horror movie that we're all gonna go around and say it has to be one. Say one quality it has to be?
Mm-hmm. It has to be a quality, right?
Yeah. So it could, has to be, well, of course it has to be horror, but you guys could add like a star, something happened in the plot, has to be in a setting, so on and so forth. So we'll start with Nick, then we'll go to Renee, and then James and John.
All right. So my studio note is that the end villain has to be a giant spider.
That's like your main thing. You like to. That's like your go-to.
I didn't know about it before, and I was like, you know what? Let's make it Let's make it it. Why not? Because that ended with a giant spider.
All right.
Gene's
all right, Renee.
She's like, fuck me.
It's gotta have a dramatic twist, but I'm trying to think of what kind of a twist though.
Come back to that one.
Yeah,
We'll
come back.
Come back
Go
to
to
it.
James.
Okay. I think we gotta give something for the male audience. We gotta give a little female nudity.
Okay.
But we're gonna do something a little bit more risque, fellas. We gotta give something to the ladies, so we need a little male frontal nudity.
So he has to catch Dame Judi Dench. I get it.
All right. It's good to have the chicks. John?
Okay. Geez. So we got spider. We have twist. We have both female and male nudity.
Right.
Let's there's a community that hasn't been really celebrated in the media, and that's hermaphrodites. So if we could get that
Has to center on a hermaphrodite?
Yeah. We got to have hermaphrodites in there, at least one.
Wow.
So
wait, hold on.
That establishes the female and male nudity.
Very progressive film, guys.
All right.
Wait a minute. Can it
just
be?
gave me a good idea right now. Hold on.
Can it just be that? Oh my God! Yes, I already know how to put that together. It's disgusting and brilliant at the same time.
Yeah.
All right. For me, the hermaphrodite has to be somehow in control of the spiders.
Okay.
But that's the twist. You never know.
All right. I'm writing notes right now. It's going to be the most interesting movie.
The hermaphrodite is like laying these eggs, like
Yeah.
the male, but also has female, so it's like laying these female eggs of spiders.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you for that. That just gave me that. Great.
Okay.
Done.
All right. This is going to be like the best
Well,
movie.
is the twist that you find out that she is a hermaphrodite?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, like the crying game.
Like the crying game, yeah.
Yeah, that's brilliant.
Yeah.
And she's like laying eggs. So it's like Alien meets the crying game.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
going to be the best. All right. This is going to be fun when we get back to it.
I can't wait to see Gene squirm on and then she opens her bra and shows you her breasts.
Oh, jeez. All right. So I think I have that all down. So when we get to that, like in 30 minutes, I'm going to give like the best hermaphrodite spider story ever.
Hermaphrodite spider story.
Can that be on the poster?
Sure, why not? It's the best hermaphrodite spider story you'll see all year.
You're right. That is
Like Alien.
That is an elite
crying game.
Alien
In a
meets the crying
world
game.
with no spiders.
It's
All
gotta
right.
have a great title. It's gotta have a great title.
Okay.
All right, yeah.
Yeah. Cool. All right. So we have
Ovaries.
Ovaries. That's it.
That's the title.
That's the title. Ovaries. Okay.
You know, it would shock you. You're not too far off on this. Isn't too far off what sci-fi does.
No, I could imagine.
Wait, hold on. Are you being serious? That's kind of what sci-fi does. They go like, "Oh, what about if we do this?"
Right.
It all comes for them. It's like they reverse engineer it. They come up with a cool title.
Uh-huh.
Like they came up with "Damn Sharks,"
Mm-hmm.
and they're like, "Damn sharks! Sharks in a river that are building dams."
Wait, they work backwards?
Human body parts. What?
They work backwards? Like they make up the title first and then they go, "Okay, how are we gonna do this?"
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's exactly how they did it. That's how they did Airplane versus Volcano.
Okay, so my thing was that when you guys heard about Airplane versus Volcano, at what point were you like, "Oh, why don't they just fly away?"
Well, that was
Yeah. That was the thing, was everyone was thinking, well, it's just a scene. So and we first, when they asked us, like, hey guys, what do you think? Can you pitch for it? And we're like, no, that's stupid. And so I think a few days later they came back and they said, can you like rethink that, or like, you know, they just told us the situation that, like, no one is really coming up with like anything good. They're all coming up with the same thing, which was Flight of the Phoenix, like that kind of storyline.
Right.
And they were saying people are like actually upset. Like filmmakers are really mad that they can't figure it out. And so we
then
like
Pandora's
sat down
box?
and we're like, if we had to do it, how could we do it in our voice, and you know, it would be something that we'd have fun with and we'd like. And I think we're saying, oh, it's got to be speed in the air. They never land.
Yeah.
And we're like, okay. And then so we started laughing, and we're just thinking of the most ridiculous things possible. And we started laughing some more. It's always late night, you know, kind of delirious, you know, kind of, that's where you get the good ideas, when you're just chuckling and laughing at yourself silly, thinking of the dumbest shit.
I think one of us, I don't know if it was me or if it was you, that said, if we had to do it, like, we came up with this one idea for a scene. And I think it was the wing scene that we're like, if we did this, and then we laughed so hard for like 5 minutes, and then that settled, and then we kind of like shared a look, and we're like, God damn it, we have to do that movie now. Just that scene exists.
Right. The ironic thing is that as I was looking through the IMDb, and I know somebody that's in the movie, and now I just can't wait to ask them to tell me their experience on Airplane versus Volcano.
Oh, who was it?
Who was it? Oh, Lawrence Jacobs.
Lawrence Hilton Jacobs, you know him?
Yeah, I know Lawrence Hilton Jacobs. Yeah, so now I want it. I didn't know he was in that movie.
No, he was great too, man. He brought everybody to.
Yeah, he's fantastic. I love that guy.
The story on that set was we were telling him just like how cool he was, because he was just like naturally cool, and we were like, dude, like you're like fucking Shaft. Well, no. He was like, I was supposed to play Shaft. He's like, I auditioned for that fucking part like 8 times or something. You know, so interesting. He was such a cool guy. He had some stories and so cool.
I thought it was super funny because last time I was talking to him, I remember looking at his IMDb page and seeing that he was in Static Shock and just nerding out with him about Static Shock. Great. But he was only in like 2 episodes, and he's just like, I don't know, I was only there for 2 episodes. I just did a voice and I left.
Awesome. Oh, so guys, we're gonna cut away to another interview. That's the Scare LA founder, Lora. Hi, this is Universa. I'm here at Scare LA with the Waffle Press podcast, and I'm here with
Lora Ivanova, founder and executive producer of Scare LA.
So, Lori, how's the con been going so far?
It's been phenomenal. We opened to a long line this morning. Everybody flooded the show floor within minutes, and we found ourselves covered in fog and monsters, just like we like it. It's only August, but Halloween has begun here at Scare LA.
Like a horror film. And speaking of which, what is your favorite horror film?
When a Stranger Calls. It's not really even I guess it is a horror film, but it's more, to me, it's like a suspense, freaking out film. I guess that's what horror is about.
Cool. What's the coolest costume you've seen here so far?
You know, I saw, I don't know about if it was the coolest one, but one of the cosplayers lifted his skirt, and I noticed that he had actually taken the attention to detail to cover his underpants in paint. So he went so thoroughly dressed up that, you know, he didn't miss a detail, even things that you couldn't see on the outside. So that was really impressive to me. I mean, it was a bit much, but I definitely thought it was interesting.
And last question, why do you think horror and like Halloween, why do people like enjoy it so much, or why do they like to get scared, I guess?
I think we like to get scared because ultimately every time we overcome fear, something scary happens and then we are okay at the end of it, we feel exhilarated. It's life-affirming. We feel we've survived, you know, just potential danger. I think instinctively we're wired to feel good after a good scare. And this is what Halloween is about. I mean, it's a safe environment to experience fear, to get startled, but then at the end of the day, have a positive experience and laugh about it.
Hey guys, just interrupting the podcast to tell you we have another interview coming up with Brian Sapir and Neil King of We Are Indie Horror, a website for horror shorts and just horror news. They have featured me and my films a couple months ago in a few articles, so check it out. Hi, this is Gina Versa. I'm at Scare LA, and I'm interviewing
Brian Sapir from We Are Indie Horror.
Neil King from We Are Indie Horror.
Cool. Get out of here. Really?
Yeah, how do we not know each other?
Yes, you know.
It's just a thing.
So how's the day been going so far, guys?
Oh man, it's been crazy. So many people, so many things going on.
Yeah, a lot of people, a lot of things, so many experiences. Like, this is the coolest thing because we didn't have this last year where it was like experience after experience after experience here.
Yeah, plus I'm a associate program producer of the convention, so I've been running around putting out fires all day.
Oh, wow. You run We Are Indie Horror, and I know this personally because my short film was featured on there. What can you tell us about your website?
Well, we're a community of independent horror artists that span around the world, aimed at connecting, promoting, networking, and inspiring a new generation of horror creators and horror lovers.
Yeah, pretty much that's it. We want to make sure that people are knowing that there's original, unique horror stories still to be told. And it's not all about the sequels and the remakes anymore, because that's where the studios are. We know that outside the studios, there's so much talent and so many awesome stories to be told, so we want to make sure the world sees it.
What has been your favorite part of like watching all the shorts?
I like when, honestly, it's when I find a filmmaker who you can watch them grow, because we work with a lot of brand new people. A lot of people send us like their first ever film, and you watch it, and it's good. The story's there, the characters are there, but they're really low budget. They didn't have a microphone, they didn't have a sound, they didn't have a good camera. And then you watch their next project, and they've learned and they've grown, and it's so great. A good example of that is a guy named David Bouchard, who's from Tennessee, and had this one movie that he made a few years ago, and the story was there, but it was nothing special. But then he turned around and made a film called In the Dark, and it is just so mind-blowingly brilliant. The story, the sound, the lighting, everything, and just watching him grow and watching these new filmmakers. I feel like in the past year, I've become a fan of like about 100 new filmmakers that no one else really knows is out there.
I personally really enjoy seeing the recognition of the other filmmakers come from it. A lot of times we'll know the people that we feature have nothing going on. Nobody's covering them for one reason or another. We write one article and it just blows up and they get the recognition, and then we see that their film's getting into festivals and they send it to us first, and it's like, that's really cool to see and actually see the success of these people go through it. It's just a very exciting thing.
Yeah, definitely. And 2 more questions. So, favorite horror film?
Oh my God, what an asshole. It always changes because I watch so many movies. I don't like to say like my all-time favorite horror film is this, but if I had to say my all-time favorite horror film would probably be like Killer Clowns from Outer Space. I can just watch that movie over and over and over and over again.
See, I'm always asked this question. I always have to give my top 5, and the thing is, it changes from time to time. Just depending on...
He has one.
Dude, I can't do one.
I picked one.
I can't do one.
You can pick one.
No, I can't.
Pick one.
No, because then I feel bad for the other ones.
You're going to say Halloween.
Of course I'm going to say Halloween. That's number 1.
And that's allowed. He asked for number 1. You didn't ask for top 5.
No, because now I feel bad for Freddy, and I feel bad for Pinhead, and that they're not on the list, and it's not fair.
No, but he's asked your favorite.
It's got to be Halloween. Okay. Halloween is the movie that really got me into filmmaking in general, and especially when it comes to indie horror. You watch Halloween, and that is the essential independent horror film. They had to rake up leaves and throw them back into the bag to redistribute them in every scene. Like, that's ridiculous, but it's indie horror at its best.
Not to mention, to add on to that, you can watch Halloween without any sound on mute, and it's still just as scary and just as effective. And Absolutely. It's really rare for a horror film to be able to do that.
Or you could do the opposite and just listen to the soundtrack, and it's still frightening and terrifying and amazing. It's a solid film. Yeah, all around. It's best.
Why do you think it's so important, horror as a genre?
I can't say exactly what it is that people like about it. I know what I like about it. For me, it's fun. And it's challenging because I used to be really scared when I was a kid, and it makes me feel stronger. Like the things that used to scare me don't scare me. But it's a community. I mean, you don't have comedy conventions, you don't have drama conventions. There's no rom-com conventions. There's horror conventions. Yeah. It's the great unifier. The people who like horror, know horror, can get together. You see a guy with a horror tattoo or a horror shirt, instantly your friend, right?
Yeah, absolutely. But for me, horror is all about the fear. At a very young age, I saw horror films, and I kind of found them to be a very fun thing. But then as I got older, I really started studying them and understanding why they're so important to our society. And when you go back and watch horror films in history and you understand what's actually going on in the world, they mimic the fears of the world. And the good ones and the popular ones are really the ones that are the scary ones. For example, now we're very much into home invasion films. The home invasion films are killing it because everyone's afraid of their own privacy. And for me, horror really says something about society as a whole. So when studying them, I just find it very, very fascinating. And then the second thing would be the fun factor of it. Being scared and having that adrenaline rush and always feeling like someone's stalking you or right behind you is just something I live for.
Cool. And where can we find you guys at?
You can go to weareindiehorror.com. You can find us on Facebook.com/weareindiehorror. We're also on Twitter at wearehorror, and YouTube, We Are Indie Horror.
Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much, guys.
Hey, thank you.
Keep the fear alive.
All right, guys, back from the interview. We're on to a new segment that we have on the Waffle Press. It's called The Great Debaters. So movies are subjective. You know, some people could like them. Some people just really hate certain movies. On this segment, we're going to have a movie that one person dislikes and one person really likes that they will then debate and then we'll judge. So for this segment, we're going to have James and John talk about the movie Deadgirl, which came out 2006, or?
Yeah, it's a while back.
2008, it says.
2008?
Oh, okay. Came into that.
Can I just say, why isn't the segment called The Master Debaters?
Master Debating.
I
don't know.
To be totally honest, I put that down as the name, and then we put it in a hat, and then we pulled this one.
It was like, it's too obvious of a pun.
Yeah, it was
Was
like,
it too obvious?
It's too
Yeah, a
obvious.
little bit.
It's too obvious. It's too masturbatory.
Cool. So Deadgirl, just going to do a quick synopsis. Two teens, they find a zombie.
They fuck it.
And, well, that's who is a girl their age. They're two, horny teens, and they both have their own ideas. So, giving the floor to you guys. We'll start with...
Okay. Well, can I make my case first?
Okay.
Absolutely. And wait, hold on. You're for the movie, correct? You were totally for the movie.
I'm against the
Okay, you're against the movie.
I want to make sure. I just want to make sure. All right, go for it.
John's in the defense, so I'll make my case.
Okay.
So the what this movie really is about is for a good 2/3 or so, maybe a half, the first half of the movie, these guys, both kind of loners, kind of down on their luck, just losers, kind of like what we were in high school and everything. I kind of related. It wasn't a bad movie. It was a very well acted movie. I liked both actors. Both went off to do bigger, better things. And it had a great setup. Where they find they go into this abandoned mental hospital or whatever, and they go into like the basement, and there's like this locked door area. They break that open because why not? And they, go back there, and they find this, half naked, woman. No, in fact, she was all naked, just strapped down to this like medical table or whatever. And they're like, "What do we do?" Kind of like incoherent, kind of screwed up. And I don't know. I can't remember what the turning point was as far as like why they decided to start banging her.
Okay.
She was naked.
They did, and I'm like, okay, where is this going? I mean, she's really gross looking. I mean, really screwed up, like dirty.
She's a zombie.
She's naked. I mean, we're all horny teens, but Jesus Christ,
not zombie is where we should draw the line.
Yeah. They find out that she was a zombie, or they find out that she was dead later because like something goes wrong, or she like kind of attacks one of them or something like that, and one of them like hits her or something and like breaks her neck or something like that, and they realize like, oh, she's still alive, she won't die.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like,
that was rather early on.
Was it? Well, but I remember thinking like 3/4 into the movie, they're still banging her. Like the movie wasn't progressing in any way. They like more and more like, so they have this dirty little secret where they like every day go back and like continue to bang the dead girl, and then like other people start to find out this secret and everything like that, and they're like trying to hide it, and when people find out, they like lure other dudes there to like bang her, and then like she bites off a dude's dick. The whole time I'm just like, she's a zombie. Why isn't anybody recognizing she's a zombie? Somebody like have somebody get bitten so this movie can get fucking interesting. It had a good setup, in my opinion. It didn't get really cool and interesting until the very end, in my opinion.
What, when it ended?
It did end.
Like
until the credits rolling.
Like
when the credits roll, you're like, that's the good part.
The last 10 minutes were.
It ended just as it started getting good, and I'm like, oh, finally, it's taking off, and then end. I'm like, oh.
You wanted to see the last 10 minutes. I want to see a movie of that. Like the last 10 minutes.
Exactly. It's like the setup should have been good. I like the setup.
Okay.
But it should have gotten to the last 10 minutes way quicker, and then let the movie continue on after that, because I don't know. It just there wasn't enough conflict, or there wasn't enough interesting things for me to continue watching. I'm just like, oh my god, why are they going back? Why do they continue to bang this thing? And their justification was, we're not going to get anything better than this. And I'm like, you're both good looking guys, you're going to be fine.
Right. It's like you're only like what, 15? It's like,
yeah.
Wait a bit. Probably,
That's like,
you'll have better options than
that honestly is
They're
like
in
two
high school, but they're both good looking guys. I mean, they would have gotten laid way more times.
Honestly,
It's like Amazing Spider-Man. It's like he's
super nerdy.
He's super nerdy. None of the chicks want him, and it's Andrew Garfield. It's like I'm sure it's like no chicks want him. Really?
And Andrew Garfield gets laid in that movie. It's bullshit.
Yeah.
You know what?
It's not like that.
That's really weird. Of two very good looking kids, and then looking at a crack whore and going, yeah, well, fuck that. That's fine.
That's the movie, man. And I'm like, as much as I like the actors, the aesthetic of the movie is good, the acting is good, the content, the story just doesn't work for me. It is a garbage movie. The filmmakers I think went on to do bigger and better things, but thankfully, but the movie just did not do it for me, man.
So that's you'll rest your case.
Yeah, that's pretty much all. I'll end it on that.
Okay, so we'll go to
Necrophilia, the movie.
Gotcha. We'll go to John.
Okay, Deadgirl. This was a sleeper hit, and it was one of those things that kind of was under the radar. And there were a few movies that are called Deadgirl. This one's one word, Deadgirl, not the Deadgirl or anything like that. This is Deadgirl, one word. And when I heard people talking about it, I didn't really know what was going on. The only thing I heard was it's good. I'm like, all right, so. I bought it on a whim from back when Hollywood Video was a thing going out of business, and I snatched up as many movies as I could,
right.
Deadgirl being one of them. And I'm so glad I did, because it is so weird and really like unforgettable in that sense. It is not a garbage film.
Well, just because garbage films are good.
Garbage films are like Serbian film and, Human Centipede 2 and 3 and stuff like that. Those are garbage films where the content, it's like, well, maybe the filmmakers should be like almost put under arrest because like this is really just fucked up and wrong.
Okay.
To me, this was more, it almost came off as a black comedy in the vein of John Landis. That's how it, like,
right.
Granted,
like
it gets
Werewolf?
serious, but it was in that vein, and it was pretty fucking funny. When it really happened. And I thought it was very smart. It was very well acted. I thought the writing was very well done. They had some great twists on common scenes that are like cliched scenes you see before, and they totally flipped it on its ear. The fact that they never call her a zombie is also a good thing. It gives itself some weight, and it wasn't a long movie. I don't think it overstayed its welcome. I think let me see, how long is this movie? Just 100 minutes, nothing crazy.
Way too long for that movie.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't at all.
Yeah.
And
I mean, for a plot that didn't go anywhere.
Right.
I mean, like, We Are Still Here had way more things happening in the movie, and that was like what, an 80-minute movie or an 82-minute movie?
Yeah.
No, I don't know, but. I really like this movie a lot. I think it's one of those that it's very edgy, and if you give it a shot and are open to it, you might really enjoy it, and you'll definitely never forget it, because there's some great scenes in there that I'm like, that's awesome.
Right.
And it was fun.
Does it have like something to say, like an interesting message, would you say?
Message, not so much.
Okay, like
it's James.
I don't think it has a message, but it's definitely a coming of age story, and I think it's something that a lot of guys. It's a guy movie.
Okay,
it's a guy.
A lot of guys can relate to it.
Dude.
Well, you know what I mean. Like, I think
flick.
us being losers growing up and stuff like that. It's something, especially dealing with growing up and not getting the girl, and you always wanted to get the girl, but in this case, you kind of get a girl that's
a zombie,
less than desirable, right? But in this case, like. One of the friends is like, trying to back away from this, and it's like, no, I don't want this. Like, and he has this, he desires someone else that's like this popular, cute girl and stuff like that. And it's a great coming of age story with a naked zombie, and that has some great humor.
That's great
in it, and it's very, very dark black humor for sure. But that it really satisfied me. It didn't disturb me, and really it didn't repel me. Like those other movies I'd mentioned, like Serbian Film or something, where it's just like, this is unwatchable and garbage. Cannot watch it. But Deadgirl is great.
Are we deliberating?
Yeah.
Are we doing it right now? Like, just saying?
Let's do the vote.
James won on this one.
Okay, in favor of Deadgirl, I'm going to go with, I think it's a good movie. I would want to see it.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Renee?
This is a whole lot about both of you.
James put up good points. I like John's effort in trying to explain at least. But if anything, I would probably have to go with James.
Okay.
Smart man.
Yeah, no.
Deciding vote?
I'm sorry, John, but no. Just no. Just everything you said no. Just
it's a very weird movie, but
it is.
No, it's fine. It's fine that it's a weird movie and everything like that. But the thing is that those kind of weird ass movies should go somewhere. Like the idea of them fucking her. If it would have given them confidence to fuck other women and everything like that, and then those women started turning into zombies and stuff like that, and that's how it started the zombie apocalypse. That would have been fucking cool. That would have been really interesting.
A better movie of that sort of same subject matter is Contracted and Contracted 2.
It follows as well. That's also
any of those movies. They actually go somewhere. There's suspense. There's a threat. There's conflict. There's shit that they have to overcome. Mm-hmm. Fucking a girl in the back of a fucking mental hospital or abandoned mental hospital, and saying like, this is the best thing we got, so better banging this girl with me.
It's an hour and a half of just...
Not only that, but also, I'm just saying, like, if you really want to see that, I'm sure you could find a clip somewhere, like on like Pornhub or something like that. I'm sure
God, but it's not about that. I enjoy the fucking part. Yeah, that's the fucking Deadgirl is more like a backdrop.
That's not the dude part of the movie. That's not the dude part.
That's not a dick flick.
But if the movie doesn't have subtext and it doesn't really have anything else to say, then what is it a backdrop to?
Gotcha.
So
we'll declare James the winner.
James is the winner. Yeah. If you guys ever have this debate again, just no.
Just no. All right.
Yeah. Well, check this out. It's the same writer of Cheap Thrills. What else has this guy done?
Doesn't excuse anything.
Yeah.
Like I said that it's like they're talented guys, they're talented filmmakers and everything, and they've gone on to do better things.
Okay.
But that movie just for whatever reason just
gotcha.
That's like saying Tusk was good just because Kevin Smith made Clerks.
You guys like Tusk.
We like Tusk.
No, don't get me wrong. I love Tusk.
You like Tusk too. Yeah. I really hate Tusk.
I love Tusk. Don't get me wrong. I understand the movie that it is, but at least that goes somewhere.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you.
It's true. No, it goes somewhere, but it's still bad. It doesn't go to our place where I want to be.
Goes in all the great places.
Okay.
It was really funny. I mean, like, we were there at ArcLight, and Kevin Smith
opening night
did a surprise Q&A.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, that's cool.
He pulls out his phone, he pulls up Twitter, and he's like, fantastic. Thanks to whoever took a picture or took a screenshot of Justin Long as the walrus, and he tweeted saying this is how gay this fucking movie is, or something like that. Whoever in this theater tweeted that. That was great.
I went and did the same thing for Yoga Hosers.
Yeah.
I'm curious to see it, man. I heard that got a lot of.
I liked Yoga Hosers and I hated Tusk. So
you know what? I would definitely recommend Yoga Hosers. It's in the same world and everything like that. Also, how many movies do you know where you can fight off sausage? Where you can fight off Bratzies?
Bratzies. They're sausage Nazis.
And Ralph Garman steals the show in that movie, man.
It's really fun. It's like Scott Pilgrim. It's like. I don't know.
A lot of fun. Definitely do recommend it.
Yeah, I do recommend. Just kind of going forward, guys. So we're going to go back to pitch a movie. I wrote down some notes of, I think we're going with the title Ovaries, right? Ovaries.
Is that really your title?
Yeah, that's the title. Like I can't top that. So
That's true.
I'm not gonna change it.
Why not? It's like teeth. Go simple. Go simple.
Go simple.
There you go.
So do I have a time limit, Nick? Do you want to time?
You know what? Yeah. Which I will give you. How long should I give you?
Usually it's like 2 or 3 minutes, right?
Give him 5.
Overian.
I'll give you 5 minutes.
Overian. Okay. Go.
Overian?
I don't know.
Ooh.
Whatever's.
Yeah, I like that.
Ovaries, ovarian. I don't know.
Overian. Okay. All right. So tell me when I'm on the clock, guys. I have. I think I could beat the 5 minutes.
You think you can beat the 5 minutes?
I think I can. Like I wrote. I brought.
All right. If you can beat the 5 minutes, I'm gonna give you a high five.
All right. Give me a high five.
All right. Ready? 1, 2, go.
Okay. So Overian is a psychological horror movie. It's Tremors, or excuse me, Eight-Legged Freaks meets The Crying Game. And Brian and his sister. Brian is a military dude. He got out of the military. He served his time. He been having some troubles since war. We won't specify what. He tries to move to a new community with his sister. He moves to this like small town, middle of nowhere, like Arkansas, something like that. The town, they're all kind of a bunch of skeeters from South Park. And when he moves there, he gets a job, but he starts seeing like spiders all around the town. It's just like it has a problem. No one's really figured out what it was. And he's trying to start, life for himself. His sister tries to set him up with a nice girl. Goes on a few dates, doesn't really find anyone. Until one day, this chick, she moves in. She has a job, works in the same place with him. Her name is Jane. He, just gets interested in her, but no one seems to like her for some reason. Goes on a few dates, have a cool montage. He, they go on a few dates. She doesn't want to consummate the relationship. Whenever she's around, there's more spiders. And, they go on a date, consummate it, and then it's kind of like we have the Crying Game reveal. It's revealed she has a penis, but he distances himself, okay, and he kind of tries to get over it, and then he
tries to get over it and make it work.
Yeah, it's like he tries to accept her, for what she is, and
like Mac from It's Always Sunny.
Yeah, sure.
The greatest way to explain this.
Okay, yeah,
That's
sure.
Great.
Okay.
Yeah, 3 minutes.
And I have 3 minutes left. I'm getting to the end of the second act.
All right. Second act.
It's the second act. Yeah.
Go.
So he goes on a date. He goes to her house, and that's when she turns into a giant fucking spider. And he goes in her house. She webs him up. She's gonna she takes him into her lair. And she reveals her grand plan is she moves from town to town, seeking a mate. Spiders do that to have their armies of spiders, whatever. And she consumes everyone in the town with her giant spider army. She's just weird alien. Maybe because he's a military dude, he heard stories of communities around the world that have disappeared. And his sister frees him because she thought something bad. She didn't like this chick, and they break out. They kill some spiders, but they try to convince a town that there's an invasion, but they don't like him. They're skeptical of him, and they're kind of he went out with a dude. That's kind of
we don't trust him.
They don't trust him because they're they're a little prejudiced. And
we don't like you faggots frolicking around.
It's we don't like your kind around here. Now, Skeeter. Anyway, they leave. Until the spiders take over the town, and him and his sister lead the town.
So happy I chose spiders.
They lead the town in a revolt against the spiders, and they manage to kill her, and they take back the town, and then it's him against his former lover, and then he says a one-liner eat this or something, and he kills her. The whole community of the whole army of spiders is dead. They extract everyone from the town. The military comes until a spider egg still left, and then you have end of the '98 Godzilla, where you see the egg moving. That's where the movie ends. Okay. That's and it beat the 5 minute.
And you beat the 5 minute. You beat the 5 minute
mark.
Awesome.
I
have a couple ideas, Jim.
Okay.
There we go.
Yeah, so do I, Jim.
All right, you guys go.
Jim, can I ask you a question, Jim, before you go into
Go
it?
ahead.
How do you feel about the woman, because the penis thing doesn't really almost come into play, like, you know, like what's the big deal? What if that person can like switch genders, like, you know, at will?
Okay.
You know, kind of thing.
To be totally honest, what I was hoping you were going to do is you were going to do a Silence of the Lambs type thing.
Yeah.
Where like the spider wants to be human and like it built a woman body, but it couldn't decide which gender was appropriate because it's never seen anything down there. Yeah. So it chose both.
That's not bad.
Yeah. No.
And it's like a mishmash, kind of like a Frankenstein's monster like attachment, and then like the end scene is like her revealing her dick.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's the vagina.
Yeah.
It's like a vagina at the end of a dick.
Yeah, but the thing is that
if we don't have a scene where the spider is dancing around, you know, naked, I'm gonna walk.
Well,
I'm walking.
Okay. See, the one thing is that
I want my money back.
The one thing I did want is I wanted the dick to either shoot spider web or poison. I wasn't sure which.
Okay.
Well,
I think it should be, if it's laying eggs, it should be like, you know, like trying to lay this giant like dinosaur egg coming out of this like little dick. So you got this like, you know how whenever water is going through like a hose, and it's like the big like
it's like the knot.
It's like a ping pong ball trying to go through a garden hose.
Okay.
See, for
that's what it should be. But I think calling it a psychological thriller probably isn't right. Maybe, you know, I would go in the vein of like, you know, definitely like Damn Sharks and everything, where it's like horror elements and action and definitely comedy, obviously.
Right.
You know, and if there's like, you know, more deaths like around the town and everything like that, and it's kind of unexplained, and you know, guy meets girl and, you know, thinks they're unrelated, but, you know.
Yeah.
Well, when he said psychological thriller and then he mentioned like the main character, and then the character had a sister, I thought he was gonna go like the way of like Sleepaway Camp.
Oh, I haven't seen that.
Like the ending of Sleepaway Camp. Yeah. I'm not too sure if anyone has ever seen it, but the ending, like the reveal, is like, you know, one of the girls ends up being a guy the entire time. So I thought I was gonna go like that route, and I was like, oh, but it was pretty interesting.
The one thing I did want is I wanted that she was a whore. And she had been
the sister?
fucking the spider.
Oh, okay.
Like the spider had been fucking everyone.
Yeah.
And
it was like species.
Can the lead guy not be like a military guy, because we've done that a lot, but more relevant to this? Like, could he be like a gynecologist?
Now, hold on.
That makes sense.
But could we have it that all the guys that are fucking her and everything like that, and everybody's had sex with her in the town, now start sprouting spiders from their mouth, and like it bursts through their chest,
you know, like 2 days later, like, next thing you know, they feel something coming.
Like it's just like infestation of, and that's how she's incubating her spiders, is inside of their chest or anything like that, and that's kind of like how she's getting away with it. And yes, she could change her gender, and she's fucking both the women and the men, and it's kind of like, she lays her eggs, and that's how she's been laying her eggs in the entire like town.
There you go.
And that way you can actually,
there you go.
That way you have all of the nudity that you wanted from both men and women.
Yeah.
There you go.
Because then because the final scene is just a exploded monster, and then it just lands and it's a big throbby cock.
with 8 legs.
and it just swings, and then legs sprout out of it, and then it walks away, and then it's like, to be continued.
There's something about there's something about having a hero that is like, you know, not necessarily like well trained. Like if this guy like works at the fucking post office, that's fun.
Yeah.
You know?
Okay.
You know,
works at the post office.
What are you talking about? Then he knows how to use guns.
I was going to suggest, like, what if it's like the sister is the main character, or have the woman be a main character, not the alien woman, but like if a woman is relocating and she meets a guy, but then there's this other like whorish girl in the same neighborhood, so we're kind of setting up this like love triangle. Like main girl is into guy, the guy is kind of, or the horsewoman's into the guy, and so there's kind of this love triangle. But you find out that the guy and the whore are the same person because she swaps genders.
There you go. That'd be kind of tight. That'd be kind of tight.
Yeah.
I like that.
So
I swear to God, John,
there was a great episode of X-Files that kind of delved into this, I think.
There was a woman who was mixing gender and fucking people. I need to watch this episode of X-Files.
I'm sure there was. There was like 10 seasons.
It was the first season, dude, and it was fucking great.
Wait, is it as good as the Wolfman one where it's cops? It's an episode of Cops.
Oh, that was a good episode.
I love that episode.
That was a great episode.
That was my favorite episode.
That was a fantastic episode, but this was the first season, so it was still pretty serious.
Oh, okay.
But it was insane.
Gotcha. I think with these notes, I would love to watch this.
So
movie.
you would watch it?
I would definitely pay. I would pay money to see this movie.
Yeah.
With the notes, yes.
With the notes, yes. I would. I liked where you went, but with the notes, I would definitely like buy this movie. Gotcha. I could see this on Sci-Fi. I could definitely see. No, wait, no. Sci-Fi would never.
Well, Sci-Fi would beat it like Overian 6 and just like.
Well, no. See, the thing is that Sci-Fi would cut the final shot of a throbbing cock sprouting legs.
Oh yeah, they wouldn't allow that.
So I mean, that's
IFC then.
That's the sequel. That's the sequel maker right there.
That's the sequel.
James, you can do all the violence and gore you want, but
just not sex.
Like nudity and like cursing for them is kind of weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, they want to appeal to the kids demographic.
Well, it's like you can squash a baby on camera, and they don't care.
Yeah,
but if they shit or show a nipple, you're like, screwed.
No, that's where I draw the line, good sir.
I'd like to see where your line is.
Yeah.
Boys, I swear to God, if I see this, if I see a commercial for this from Sci-Fi, I'm gonna be really pissed off that we didn't at least get producer credits.
Yeah. We'll see what happens, man. I mean, it all, like I said, it all starts with an awesome title, you know, and then they build around it.
Ovaries.
Yeah. Oh my God, that's
Ovaries.
Cool.
I love that.
Awesome.
Good job.
Yeah. So,
Gene, can we make this movie?
Nicely done.
Well, yeah, we can make it. Let's make it. All right. So, guys, moving on to the next segment, fantastic movies and where to find them. So, James, Jon, I'm gonna give you like maybe 2 minutes each around there to recommend one horror film that you feel like is underappreciated, and just kind of explain like why it's underappreciated. So whoever wants to go first.
Are you ready, Jon? I got one.
Yeah, go ahead, dude.
Well, I just rewatched this older. To me, it's kind of a classic movie. I don't know. I grew up watching it. I don't know why. House 2. I don't know if you guys ever seen House 2.
Was it a Japanese movie?
No.
Oh,
It was by New World Pictures back in 1986.
Is it the sequel to Smart House?
No. Just House.
No, I've seen these. I've seen House 1 and House 2. They're great. They're actually great. Yeah.
And House 2 was like the first one. I think was a little bit more horror oriented, but they're very comedic in the realm of like, in my opinion, like Dead Alive or Frighteners, where it's like very goofy and kind of over the top.
Yeah, Frighteners is awesome.
Yeah, Frighteners is amazing. That one's underappreciated, but I think a lot more people are aware of that one. Like House,
it's
House
Peter
2,
Jackson.
People aren't as aware. But I rewatched House 2 with my girlfriend, and she absolutely hated it. But I'm like laughing, at it, and I'm like, this is fantastic. And it's pretty much about the second one. It's pretty much about this this young guy who inherits his old family's. He was like given up for adoption or something, and his like original parents or biological parents own this family home, and they were like killed or something by like some evil entity, some like evil ghost spirit zombie thing of this cowboy who had a vendetta against the family. That's just the beginning.
Okay.
And so this guy inherits the house, and he finds out like his whole heritage, and he finds out that his like great grandfather was like this famous adventurer who discovered this like crystal skull. Before Indiana Jones did it, they had a crystal skull. Okay. And so they dig up his great grandfather because why not? He's like supposedly buried with this like priceless crystal skull. So they dig him up and find the skull, but the great grandfather comes back to life, and he's like this old like prospector kind of zombie guy who's like hanging out with them now.
Okay.
And they just like hang out with him for like half the movie, and like he's like telling him about the skull, that it's this like sort of evil conduit, or like all these evil dark forces are like coming after this thing. So this house and everything is kind of this gateway to all these different dimensions and different places and time and whatnot. And all these like weird characters keep on coming out of nowhere and keep on coming after this skull. So there isn't much of a story other than that.
Okay.
It's a fun, silly, goofy movie if you like 80s movies where there's like tons of practical effects, puppets, zombies, gunslinging zombies. Less.
What's that character actor's name from Cheers? And he's in all the Pixar movies. Like he played the ham.
What's his name?
Wait, the character actor from Cheers?
Yeah, he's been in all.
And he played the ham in Toy Story and
looking it up,
the Abominable Snowman.
That's what computers are for.
Yeah. I know who you're talking about. But what were you gonna say?
Abominable. Do I look like Abominable to you?
Yeah, no, exactly.
John, what's his name?
John Ratzenberger.
John Ratzenberger, yeah.
Okay.
Gotcha.
There you go.
He's probably
he plays the best character in that movie.
Bill Maher has a small appearance in it, which is interesting. Just showing up, being yuppie. Bill Maher looks exactly the same.
For some reason.
I know he did use the act.
He wasn't very good at it.
Yeah, I forgot he acted.
So John. So I want to check this out. I want to check this movie out.
Yeah, I definitely want to check this out. That sounds really interesting.
Yeah.
It should have been made like for kids. But I don't know why it's rated R. It's so fucking cheesy, but so much fun.
Like no gore or anything. But yeah, John Ratzenberger, he plays an electrician, and he finds out like he's like bashes a hole in their wall, like trying to like check out their wiring, and he like brings them in. He's like, "We better go in the other room and take a look." And he looks in, he's like, "Well, there's your problem. Looks like you got some alternate universe in there or something."
Yeah. It's like, it happens. It happens, in houses occasionally. You want to, check
like the
that.
fifth house I've seen with alternate universe.
Before. I've been doing this for 20 years.
Yeah. If they check their pipes, they could have gotten red, not had that problem.
Yeah, man, it's red matter. There's red matter in your pipes.
He opens his toolbox and pulls out like a sword out of his toolbox. Fuck? It was amazing.
You seen it too?
It was great.
Oh my god.
All right, now I need to watch this movie. I need to watch this movie.
So John, do you want to do your recommendation?
Yeah, it took me a minute to figure one out, but
I
got one. It was also from the 80s.
Okay.
Let me look it up, see what year. It's called The Hidden.
Okay.
And when we were kids, we called this movie The Worm Movie. We didn't really know what the title was. We just, because we were stupid and young, like 2 or 3 years old, we were like, it's The Worm Movie. But it's an alien movie, a sci-fi, and I know it's not a horror. Well, it says sci-fi horror, so fuck it, whatever. 1987, Kyle MacLachlan from Twin Peaks and Flintstones is in it as the lead character. It's basically about 2 cops who aren't partners. They're working on the same case, and they are pursuing this person going around LA causing all kinds of mayhem. And turns out both their cases are the same fucking case, and they partner together. And who they're pursuing is a person who is basically under control over a parasitic alien, and it's
going from body to body.
Exactly, it transfers
and goes into another person. And so they think that they're going after one person. In fact, they're going after multiple, because this person, it keeps on leaping from body to body, and it keeps on going on.
Yeah, and it's a great fucking movie. It's purely action and just insanity. It has some cheesy effects, but the practical stuff with the alien, it doesn't even look like an alien. It just looks like this nasty parasitic thing coming out of the person's mouth, going into another person's mouth, and to down their throat, is by far the most disgusting thing you'll ever see.
These spider legs come out of the person's mouth, and it kind of pulls itself out of the person's mouth.
I'm telling you, spiders are in every horror film.
Yeah,
but that is definitely worth watching alone. But I swear, if you watch it, it is a great movie. It's just, there's very little.
It's a really fun movie.
It's
really
a ton of fun. You don't really have to think. You just turn it on and it fucking goes.
Yeah.
And that's one of those things.
But The Hidden's really good.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's really just a ton of fun. It's action, sci-fi, has a little bit of horror in there too, and it's definitely worth checking out.
Okay.
It's very weird, but awesome.
Cool.
Which do you have a quick recommendation? Like just really quick?
Oh, just really quick from me.
No, like 2 seconds.
That I've seen. You're putting me on the spot.
To be totally honest, mine would be Clowns Attack.
Clowns Attack?
Or Killer Clowns from Outer Space. My bad.
Okay. Oh, I think I've heard of that.
You've never seen Killer Clowns from Outer Space?
I think no, I haven't seen it.
Oh man,
that's a really good one.
Yeah, it's a classic.
Yeah.
Dude, it's just a bunch of clowns from outer space just picking up people and putting them in cotton candy.
Yeah.
Over the top, like big cartoony, kind of like big prosthetic.
Right.
It's
giant puppet things moving around.
It's so out there
Netflix.
that it's so out there that it makes the movie fucking great.
I'll have to see. Oh, okay. I had a quick recommendation.
Yeah.
Which one?
Not the original, but the remake of Let the Right One In, Let Me In. I barely saw it like the other day, like it's on Sci-Fi.
Jeez, wow.
And yeah, no, I don't know. It was just one of those movies I just haven't seen. Oh, finally saw Psycho, Jon. By the way.
What the fuck?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on.
And I saw it.
the remake?
No, like the original Psycho, because it's just I never saw it. But
what?
What? It's really good, but. Okay, so Let the Right, it was Let Me In is the remake, and I went in like I knew it was from Matt Reeves, who I love from Cloverfield and like Planet of the Apes, and like it was just like it's about bullied kid and vampire, but like I felt like it's because I saw the original and like it kind of it's less like harsh as original and it's more like it's still R-rated, but it has more heart. I felt like and I think I've dug that a little more than the original one, and I just really enjoyed it.
I think another great one is Slither.
Slither? Yeah, Slither's great.
Slither's really
good. Oh, that one's a fun one.
Oh, Slither is my favorite.
Slither is one of my favorite movies to watch during Halloween.
Yeah,
it's fucking awesome.
I'll watch anything with Nathan Fillion.
That and Halloween Town. That's my Halloween movie. It's either Slither or Halloween Town.
Okay. Really quick before we wrap, guys, we're just gonna do some quick movie reviews. I saw a very early screener of Arrival, which is like really good. It's like really good. I'm gonna like call it right now. It's gonna be like one of the best sci-fi films of like the decade.
Really?
Like I really like it. Loved it. Cool. I saw it at Beyond Fest.
Wow.
Yeah.
Damn. Why is it to me that like it does look like a good movie? I don't know. Maybe it's just there isn't. Is there a good original idea there that's different?
Yeah. Like it's like it's like a first contact movie. You've seen that before, like
right.
in some films, but like this, where it's like they go into like, okay, the first contact. You see the aliens come. They don't come. They come in peace. They don't try to attack. But it's like, okay, they're here now. Try to communicate with them because you don't know their language. You don't know how they speak, and it's just like the Amy Adams, her character, just like problem solving, like how to speak to these like aliens before like.
Would you compare it to Close Encounters of the Third Kind?
I would say it's like Close Encounters, but more like if like Close Encounters meant like a Kubrick movie, so like 2001, because it's like it's less adventurous. What's that? Yeah, it's really weird. It's less like adventure. It's more like scientific, like trying to explain like linguistics. Language and linguistics. Yeah, my bad. And yeah, it's really smart. I would recommend it.
Awesome. And it's the same director as Sicario.
Yeah, who's going to do Blade Runner too. So Blade Runner 2049.
The only movie I got to see early was The Accountant.
Oh, okay. I saw that.
I got to see earlier.
Did you like it?
I actually really liked it.
Yeah,
I really liked it. I thought it was a good movie. It just took time.
Okay.
It took a lot of time to get the movie kind of going, but it like took that time to like dive into the characters, which I don't dislike. That's fine with me. It's just that at certain points it was kind of like, all right, how long is this movie?
Gotcha.
Like it was a 2-hour movie that felt like 2.5.
The third act I felt was a little whatever.
Wow. Yeah.
And really
for us, we just saw since it's almost Halloween time, and I think it just came out to theaters again. Was Rob Zombie's 31?
Oh.
And we know Lou Temple, we know Larry. Lawrence Hilton Jacobs in it.
Is he really?
What?
Is he really?
Yeah, he kicks ass in it.
Larry's in it.
Now I fucking
he's great.
It was out for like one night, right?
It came out in advance. There was a one night Fathom thing.
Gotcha.
Then they did it again October 21st, and I'm sure it's probably in some more theaters and
Okay.
whatnot. But it's
I
basically, the Running Man, Rob Zombie's version of the Running Man or whatever. And
Most dangerous game.
My brother and I, we dug that concept. We're like, that's fun. Let's just see some mayhem and have them go, crazy. Now, is it as crazy as we would have hoped? Not really. We Jim and I are really big on spectacle, and we like sequences drawn out and stuff. So there wasn't really anything drawn out. It was a lot of
there was some
talking.
His aesthetics. I don't know. It's very particular for his fans. So if you're not a fan of his movie, you're probably not going to like. This isn't going to be the one that's going to suddenly like win you over.
So if you like Devil's Rejects,
right?
His aesthetic I always like and appreciate, but it's a lot of the same cast of typical actors that he brings back and so on. So the same ragtag people are in it, but it was a good cast. I think that the breakthrough or breakout performance in that movie, despite how I felt. I ultimately felt the movie was very okay. I watched it all the way through. I was semi entertained, but I thought it was okay.
Okay, right.
And what?
No, I have to admit the only I think Rob Zombie movie I didn't like was the Halloween sequel.
The Halloween 2?
Halloween 2.
Yeah.
It's the only one in which I was like, this is fucking stupid.
I like the first Halloween.
First Halloween was pretty cool, but I thought like the second one I was kind of like, this is fucking stupid.
Right.
Like I felt really dumb. Like I felt like watching it and I felt dumb that I paid money for it.
Yeah.
And I remember walking out and like getting my money back and going like, wow, that sucked. And then just like going home.
Yeah.
Like
just disappointed.
Yeah, it was. I was really mad.
Just
I was
driving
like,
out.
it wasn't even worth the $5 I paid.
But 31 is better than Halloween 2.
Oh, really?
Right, guys?
Would you guys?
I didn't mind Halloween 2.
Okay.
I recently watched Halloween 2, and I'm like, wow, I remember that being a lot better. So,
Gotcha.
I don't know if I'm just changing when I'm getting older and everything, but it's not his best, but I don't think it's his
worst.
Okay.
Worst?
It's like it's okay. It's like one of his mid movies, I guess.
Yeah, I think even he kind of knew that. Like he was trying to work on so many or get so many other movies made and started that were just all failed starts. And it's like, oh, this will take too long. Oh, that's taking too long. Screw it. He's like, I can literally come up with an idea right now that'll get greenlit.
Okay.
But it's like not an idea that he's hugely passionate about.
Gotcha.
But something kind of marketable. Okay.
Right.
Crazy clowns attacking, killing people in this sort of, most dangerous game type.
Gotcha.
Situation.
And just one last one from me. I would recommend Shin Godzilla. It's the new Godzilla.
How was
movie.
that?
That was really good. It was from Toho. I would say it's better than the Gareth Edwards Godzilla.
Do they actually show Godzilla?
They do show Godzilla. It's
That's
like
good.
really weird. He's like Godzilla's like a deep sea organism. It like goes against like his origins that's been established, and
that's fine.
It's really cool. I would check it out. It's like a really smart movie.
That works.
I heard that it's even actually like kind of scary. Is that true?
Yeah, like it is. It's scary because it's like a disaster movie where it's like, the original Godzilla, like it dealt a lot with like the after effects of like the bomb dropped in Japan. This is like it's like more about the tsunami. So you kind of see, like the movie's scary because it gets too real. You see like what would happen to like people if this like when disasters hit. I would say, so that's how I would compare it.
That's cool.
Nice.
I like that.
Cool. And with that, we unfortunately have to wrap up. We're out of time. Guys, where can we find you guys at? Any social media you wanted to promote on Facebook or anything like for Dual Visions?
John?
Okay. Yeah, me. Yes, you can find us on Facebook. I think we're the Condillac Brothers, and you can find Blood Brothers movie on Facebook. Behind the Walls is also on Facebook. We have Twitter for everything. I'm sure you guys can find us. Just Google us.
Behind Walls.
We have our
on Twitter.
Yeah.
Dual Vision.
Yeah, we have the dualvisionstages.com, or the CondilacBrothers.com. A whole bunch of stuff, fun stuff like that. We'll be releasing the trailer for Behind the Walls soon. Probably in a month or so.
Awesome.
So that'll be a fun announcement. And we're going to be pushing Blood Brothers pretty hard here coming soon. Like probably like in November we're going to be hitting it hard, pushing that for the December 2nd release. Yeah.
Cool.
It's going to be coming out limited theatrical and VOD the same day, December 2nd for Blood Brothers. So check that out.
Awesome.
Cool. Yeah. Watch out for me. What was it? You can find me. I do another podcast called Not That There's Anything Wrong With It, where me and watch out Renee and another coworker and another buddy of mine, Lucas Bellhumor, we talk about whatever the fuck we feel like. So we never have a rundown. We never have anything like that. It's kind of like the fun of it. Okay. And everything like that. You can also find me on Facebook and also with hyperkin.com.
Gotcha. And you could find me under on Facebook. It's We Own Nothing Films. Do some short films and stuff. And cool. So Renee, you're playing us out. James, John, thank you for joining us tonight.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks, you.
Cool.
It was a ton of fun.
Gotcha. We have been professionally unprofessional. And happy Halloween.
Have a good one, guys.
Yeah, you too, guys.
Fucking Dean King. There's the...